If you're looking to draw inspiration from somebody in photography, Professor Hines is somebody that I recommend. Guess what? I had the opportunity to talk to him at the Zeiss booth, and he really dropped how he kind of started in photography and why he likes Zeiss lenses. Let's get into it.
Hey, Professor Hines, how you doing? I'm Braxton.
Nice to meet you.
You here with Zeiss, right?
Yes.
Why do you like Zeiss lenses over maybe the other lens makers? It's not gonna call me names.
I've enjoyed the Zeiss. So how I got started is a very funny story, actually.
Yeah.
I was in high school, and a girl that I liked had a Sony Cybershot and had a Zeiss lens on it. And I was like, I gotta get that camera. Gotta get the same thing that she had.
It's always a girl.
Pretty much,
Okay.
pretty much. And so I bought that system, the Cybershot, and that was back in 2008.
Yeah.
And around that same time, Sony had came out with their own DSLRs because they had bought my notes a couple years before. And I saw that they had DSLRs, and I was in the market to get a camera.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the Nikon, the Canon, but since I had the Sony, I was like, well, I can just stay with what I have.
Yeah.
So I especially liked it because they had Zeiss, and they were just so good. People don't know who are using a lot of these more modern cameras. Back then, the only lenses that we had back then was Zeiss lenses.
Yeah.
16 to 35, 24 to 70, the prime lenses, 24, 85, 130, all of those are Zeiss.
Yeah.
So I just like the quality, and I always just wanted to have whatever is the best that I could have at that point. I wanted to have that in my hands, and they've done me well for many years.
Specific characteristic to them that other lenses haven't really developed, just because it's so cookie cutter of specifications.
Well, for Zeiss, they're an optics company.
Yeah.
You look at some of the other manufacturers that are out there, they do a variety of different things. Where Zeiss has always been on optics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Germans just seem to do things differently from everybody else. You have Zeiss, you have Leica that are German companies, and they are very well respected as far as what they do. And yeah, there's just a unique, like people say there's a 3D pop that you get from Zeiss lenses.
Yeah.
And when people look at my photos, like my street pictures that I do, like it just looks like it's popping off of the page.
I do.
And I feel like the Zeiss lenses on top of how I edit, it just really amplifies that quite a bit.
Nice.
So
What's your favorite?
Golly, I got to talk to the boy Professor Hines at Imaging USA 2024 in Louisville, Kentucky. I need you to go click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be up to date on these next 3 videos that are coming out. This is number 2. If you missed number 1, go back and watch it. Talk to Mark Cruz with Nikon. But let's get back into the video.
That's a good question. My favorite changes often. I like my Zeiss Bodice 85. This is a new lens that Zeiss actually gifted me yesterday. This is a Leica mounted M mount lens. So I'm using a NovaFlex adapter.
So is this a newer lens, or is this more of a vintage lens?
So this is an older lens. This lens was released in 2014, I believe.
Okay.
And so the characteristic of this lens is, it has an older looking style design compared to like our Bodice or Milvis line of lenses.
Yes.
And I like it because, being that it's for a rangefinder system, it's so small, it's so compact, and this is still a 1.4.
Nice.
But I really love my Loxias. They're manual, 2135. Those have been my favorites for the last few years. I originally got those in December of 2019.
Okay. So last kind of thing before we get out of here. Can all Zeiss lenses, do they have different mounts to mount on different brands, or do you have to get adapters?
So they do have different mounts. So like this is for Leica M.
Okay.
You have Zeiss Milvis and Zeiss Otis. Those are for Canon and Nikon.
Okay.
The Canon EF and Nikon F mount.
Okay.
Nothing native for the mirrorless system, but they're manual anyway, so just use an adapter and you can adapt those to your camera. There's also the Tuit lenses for Sony E and Fuji X mount, the crop APS-C, and then for Sony you have the bodice line and Loxia. Loxias are manual, bodice are autofocus.
Got you.
And with the Sony mirrorless, however, I can use all of the lenses.
All of them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this is my new camera. At the current time and moment, her name is Aria.
Yeah.
Haven't decided if that's what because I'm still trying this camera out.
Yeah.
But if I keep it, this is gonna be Aria. And I love it because it's just so compact compared to my bigger A1 twins. I just want something that was easier to travel with.
Yeah, something that doesn't weigh your back down.
Yes, because having two bodies with
Yes.
lenses in
Yeah.
my bag, it's a
It
lot.
gets heavier and heavier. So tell everybody who you are and how they can follow you, because you have amazing work. The work's absolutely amazing. And every time I watch your videos, I'm just like memorized, going, all right, so what did he do here? All right, let's go try it.
Well, I'm Professor Hines, what most people know me as. Kenneth is my first name. You can always find me online at Professor Hines on whatever social media platform there is, as well as my website. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right.